Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. F-Dash here with F-Dash TV. And as promised, another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Legends video for you. So this is the first in a series of videos that I'll be doing regarding how I'm going to be upgrading character abilities to level 7. So as I was saying in the past videos, you're going to have a lot more abilities to upgrade, right, than you are gear to upgrade those abilities, right? Let me collect my reward here. And you have to be very, very strategic about which abilities you're going to be upgrading. So what I'm going to do today is talk about the upgrades order that I'm going to be doing for the Nick Turtles and their allies. And in this case, it's going to be Nick Casey, Nick April, and Splinter. There's only one Splinter, right? So we're going to be talking about that. Now, again, big disclaimer at the beginning. This is not, as most of my videos, this is not a how-to. I'm not saying that this is what you have to do. I'm just telling you this is what I'm going to do. You know, if you want to follow what I do, cool. If you think what I'm doing is terrible, number one, let me know in the comments. But number two, that's okay. You know, the cool thing about this game is that, you know, we all play the same characters, but we don't have to play them all the same way. With that being said, this is just what I'm going to be doing, how I'm going to be upgrading the abilities for my characters to level 7. So go over here to the roster. We're going to start with April, as she is at the top. So April, the order that I've decided to go with for April, and I have a Google Sheets of this, so I'll link it in the description below if you want to check it out. So the order in which I'm going to be doing this is one of two ways, because she has two really cool skills that do different things, but that are both really, really useful. So her third skill and her fifth skill, right? So her third skill has a 90% chance to dispel positive effects from a target foe. That's pretty huge, you know, 90% chance to dispel any positive. Just off the top of my mind, I'm thinking about Splinter. Even though you can't use her in the Splinter challenge, but you know, some characters like Super Shredder, they have those those buffs on them, and you can't use her there either. Well, never mind with that. Anyway, so her fifth ability gives her a 90% chance to ability block for one turn. And that, that can definitely help you in some of these challenges. So for her, and you'll see that this is a theme, generally you're either going to want to update 3 or 5 first. And in April's case, it doesn't really matter which one you do first. It's personal preference. So it's either do you want to ability block or you want it to be able to dispel. I don't think you're going to go wrong with either of them. I'm going to go with 5 first. So I'm going to upgrade Mind Over Matter first, because that 90% chance of ability block, I just think it's more useful the way I use April. So I'm definitely going to go with that one first. And then the second ability that I'll upgrade will be Test and Throw for that 90% chance to dispel. From there, I'm going to go with her first ability, Kunoichi Strike, because this goes 80% chance to reduce the focus meter of a foe by 100%. Now, 80% is 10% lower than 90%, but this is still an amazing ability for April. Focus meter is huge. I mean, so if you can take it down by 100%, that can definitely win you games there. So a case could be made to upgrade this one first. And I wouldn't be mad, I wouldn't be mad at you if you did it first. I mean, hell, you could do 5 and then 1 and then 3. They're all really, really good. So with April specifically, you wouldn't go wrong with 5, 3, or 1 in any order that you choose to do them. From there, I'm gonna go with healing as the fourth upgrade that I'll do for her. So Phone a Friend. And the reason for that is because all it does here is just go down 1 turn. So you're still only healing 50% of their max HP. And you got to remember, healing doesn't scale with levels, right? So attack power and all that does. So you do want to be aware of that when you are looking at healing abilities. So that's why hers is a little low. But three turns versus 2 turns. That's helpful there. And then of course, her last ability that I plan to upgrade will be the 4th one. Her passive, Psychic Bond. When you take it to level 7, she'll have a 50% chance to dispel negative effects from her allies, rather than 30% chance. So that's a pretty big jump from 30 to 50, and that's really nice. So you have half a chance of it working. I just excuse me. It's not terrible, right? But I mean, I think the other abilities are better than that one. So again, my order for April is either going to be 5, 3, 1, 2, 4, or 3, 5, 1, 2, 4, or hell, I could even do 1, 3, 5, or 1, 5, 3, 2, 4. Either way, 2, 4 are definitely going to be the last ones that I do. All right, so that's April. Next up, let's look at Donatello. So Donatello, a case definitely can be made for his last ability, his 5th ability, Baseball Bomb. Check out what it does. It raises his attack power by 230%, which, a lot of 5th abilities are going to go up to 250. Some other ones that come up to mind are Bunny's. Bunny's attack power will also raise to 230%. That's huge, right? But when looking at Donnie, you gotta remember, what is Donnie's main role here? His main role is not to dish out a ton of damage, right? He is all about defense. And because of that, I'm gonna upgrade his 3rd ability first. So check out what this does. So at level 7, it's gonna raise the defense of all allies, still by 60%, but now instead of 4 turns, 5 turns. That to me is huge. 60% increased defense for 5 turns. I'm going to take that over his attack power any day, because Donnie's not necessarily the strongest Nick Turtle. So I'm going to let him upgrade my defense rather than outright up his damage. But I will take his 5th ability, Baseball Bomb, second. So 3, 5, because again, 230%, that's nothing to cry about. But for sure, his first one for me is going to be Shield Synthesizer. After the 3rd and 5th one are done, I'm going to go with number 2. So the reason for that, number 1, it's an AoE. You gotta love AoEs. But the fact that it raises attack power by 95%. So that's the other attack that increases attack damage by 95%. Then I'll go with his passive, mainly because it affects his allies, right? So you have a 50% chance to raise your affliction defense of allies by 50% for 2 turns. Now, why did I go with that one first and not April's first? Well, because his number 1 is not nearly as good as April's, right? So his number 1 ability, Bodacious, is just a 40% chance to gain 20% of max HP. So it's a very low amount of HP, and it's a low percentage. So in this case, his passive is actually much better than his first ability. So that's my order for Donatello. Again, 3, 5, 2, 4, and then 1. Let's look next at, who is next in the list? Leonardo. So let's look at Leo here. Now, I think everybody is going to want to do Blade Dance for Leo's first. And it's not a terrible idea. Again, what it does, it raises attack power by 100%, which I thought was a little low, to be honest. It doesn't raise attack power by that much. So that's why I'm not going to be upgrading that one first. Instead, again, I'm going to upgrade his 3rd ability first, because it raises attack power by 210%, which is obviously a much, much higher than 100%. So I'm going to do his 3rd ability first, and then I'll do his 5th ability, so that I can raise it to 100%. After that, I'm going to do his 2nd ability, so I'm going to get the heal going on. And the reason for this is because it ups the heal to 50%. So you can heal your allies to 50%. After 3, 5, 2, I'm going to go with his 1st ability for my 4th upgrade. So this is a 50% chance for his attack power to be raised by 40% for 2 turns. So that's on top of either a 200%, 210%, or another 100% increase in attack power. So he could really start stacking that attack power. It's really nicely. And then for my final upgrade for Leonardo, I'm going to do ability 4, his passive, Fearless Leader. So this one at the start of the turn, you have a 50% chance to heal yourself 20% of max HP. So again, this one's not as good as April's, because April heals everyone, or dispels everyone. But his just heals himself. Not super of a priority for me. So again, his order for me is going to be 3, 5, 2, 1, 4 for Leonardo. Let's look next at Michelangelo. So Michelangelo is interesting in the sense that his abilities are not in the same order as everyone else. So his passive is actually number 3, and then number 4 is going to be an actual attack. So for him, you'd think it'd be this one, number 4, in the zone. But actually, I'm going to upgrade his heal first. Now, I know I just said healing doesn't scale. Don't upgrade your healing first. I know I just said that. But bear with me here. Follow along. So why did I do this one? So it still heals 50% max HP, which is the same as April and the same as Leo. But you also have a 50% chance to dispel negative effects from your allies. So that's why I'm going with this one first. In addition to the fact that, as you'll see when we look at the other ones, this one has the best bang for your buck. The other ones are, they're not that great, right? So I'm definitely gonna do this one first, mainly not for the heal, but for the dispel. I think that's huge. 50% chance to dispel. Next, I will do his 4th ability in the zone. So it's still going to raise your dodge by 60%, but now instead of a 65% chance for crit rate to be raised, you're going to have an 80% chance for your crit rate to be raised by 60 for 2 turns. So I think that's pretty good. Better chance to raise your crit rate there. The other reason I didn't do that one first is because Michelangelo doesn't hit very hard to begin with, right? So even with critting, he doesn't do a ton of damage. So it's not a deal breaker for me. Right, so after 2 and 4, I'm going to do his first ability first. His first ability third. The reason for this, you get a 50% chance for his dodge to be raised by 40% for 2 turns. Anything that keeps Mikey alive longer, right, is going to be a benefit to your team. So you want to keep him alive as long as possible. So after 2, 4, and 1, I'm going to do his third ability, his passive, like a turtle do. So this one, you have a 50% chance to attack twice when using your basic. And you don't have to do anything for this, right? You just have it. You have a 50% chance to get double attack. Again, he doesn't attack very strong. So, it's okay. Again, any damage that Mike is going to do on your team is bonus. And then his 5th ability, Booyakasha, is going to be the last one for me to be upgraded because it sucks now, right? And it's going to suck then too. The other thing is that it looks like it's bugged, at least the message here, because there is no change, right? It still says Mikey uses a smoke bomb to sneak up on a foe and raise crit rate by 75%. So I don't know if it's going to raise it by some other percent or if the cooldown is going to go down, but it looks bugged. So anything bugged is definitely going to be a final upgrade for me. So plus that move really sucked. Like it's terrible. I may not even upgrade that one. It's really bad. Somebody I skipped, Casey. So let's look at Nick Casey Jones here. Casey has grown on me in the last couple weeks for sure. So with Casey, I'm going to upgrade his 3rd ability first. So Graffiti Grenade. Casey shakes and throws the bombs. So it's got an 80% chance for accuracy to be lowered by 50% for 3 turns. That's amazing. So 80% chance obviously is much better than 65. Anytime you can get your characters to live longer, you're going to have a much better chance of completing whatever challenge or battle you're in. So accuracy down is fantastic. Mix that with evasion up, and you've got a really dastardly combination. So that ability first. And then for me, I'm going to upgrade his 2nd ability second because this gives him a 100% chance. So it's for sure going to happen for his speed, not for his speed, but for the speed of whoever he attacks, to be lowered by half, 50% for 3 turns. I think that's amazing. So not only are you going to accuracy down them, right, but then you're going to slow them down too. So that's a great combination there for Casey. Then I will do his 5th ability. So this is going to increase from 65 to 80% chance to cause a DOT for 3 turns. DOT is always nice too, you know, especially if you got accuracy down and you're slow. That's fantastic. Then after that, I'll upgrade his first ability 4th. So this one, it's he's got a 65% chance for speed to be raised by 50% for 2 turns. It only affects him, but you know, getting him to go more and more and more, not a terrible idea, right? And then lastly, his passive will be upgraded last for me. The reason for this is that he has a 50% chance to raise his physical defense, not his, actually his allies' physical defense by 50% for 2 turns. That's not bad, right? But I think the other abilities are better than that. So that's why I decided to go with that one last. So again, my order for Casey, 3, 2, 5, 1, and then 4. Jesus, there's a lot of sound going on here. All right, who's next? We did Mikey, Raphael. All right, Raphael. Raph here. Raph's going to do some work. So he's got an amazing set of abilities. And side note, I wanted to say that I'm glad I did this review because I had not noticed that I had not upgraded Raph's 5th ability to max yet. It was stuck at 3 for really, I don't know why. But every time I was doing his Shoryuken, he wasn't doing as much damage as he could have. So that kind of sucked. So with him, again, both his 3rd ability and his 5th ability are going to be gangbusters, right? Either one, doesn't matter what order you do it. I think you're going to be happy either way. Me personally, the way I use Wrath, I'm going to go with do your worst first. So what this does, it taunts all foes for 3 turns. So it's going to increase the turns from 2 to 3. And of course, he's got a 100% chance already to counterattack. So, I mean, 3 turns of Wrath, you know, just knocking people over is definitely what I want to do with my life. So I'm definitely doing that first. And then I'll do his 5th ability second. And this one's really good. Again, 90% chance to cause DOT for 4 turns. You know, the reason I didn't do this one first is because 4 turns to me, I think is overkill. I don't know many enemies that are going to survive that many turns. Maybe like a Super Shredder, right? But everybody else is going to go down pretty easily. So I don't think 4 turns is going to come into play all that often. But any DLT is good DLT, right? So 3, 5, and then we're going to do his 2nd ability, 3rd. So it's going to be able to raise the attack power of allies by 80% for 3 turns. Now this one didn't go up as high as I would want it to. I was kind of hoping for like a 90 or something like that. But, you know, 80% is not terrible. After 3, 5, 2, we're going to go with 1. Because it gives him a 50% chance for his defense to be raised by 40%. So again, he's going to be taunting, right? So you want him to live long enough to be able to counterattack every single time he's taunting for 3 turns. So you want his defense to be raised as much as possible. Keep him alive. And then finally, I will upgrade Wrath's passive, still standing. This one, all it does is increases his defense by 20% at tier 7. But that's definitely going to be useful because, again, you want him to survive being hit when he's taunting for 3 turns so that he can do those powerful counterattacks. So the order again for Raph, my order is going to be 3, 5, 2, 1, and then 4. Coincidentally, the same as Leonardo. And then, so we've done Donatello, April, Casey, Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael. The last one we've got to do here is their master. That is Splinter. So with Splinter, I'm going to do his 3rd ability first. And the reason for this, it's a 90% chance to cause ability block for 3 turns. That is so good. Ability block for 3 turns, that's amazing. 90% chance means it's most likely going to happen, right? So definitely, I like that ability a lot. I'm going to go with Splinter's third ability first. Then I'm going to do his buff second. And the reason for this is that it increases their buffs for a whole nother turn. So they're going to be buffed for, instead of 3 turns, 4 turns. Doesn't change up the buffs at all, but the more buffs you have, speed up, critical chance up, attack up, those are all fantastic. Defense up, they're all fantastic. You can't really go wrong with any of those. After his third and his second, I'm going to upgrade his first ability, because this gives him a 50% chance for his attack power to be lowered. Not for his attack power, but for him to lower the opponent's attack power by 50% for 2 turns. You got to remember too, he's just like Raph, so he's going to counter 100% when he's at max. So every single time he counter attacks them, he's going to be lowering that attack power by 50% for 2 turns. That's amazing right there. You definitely want that. So 3, 2, 1. Then I'm going to upgrade his passive, because it also increases his defense by 20% at tier 7, just like Raphael. You can see it's the same thing pretty much. So he's just going to counter, and this keeps him alive as well to keep countering and keep lowering that attack power from those enemies. And then lastly, for me, I'm going to upgrade his I can't even say what that is. His strike attack. Mainly because all it does really is 1 cooldown less, right? So it's still 200%. Doesn't increase anything like that. Doesn't change or add any afflictions or anything like that. It just lowers the cooldown. So that's not not the best thing you could do with Splinter. I think all the other ones are much better bang for your buck. So Splinter 3, 2, 1, 4, 5. So that is my upgrade order for the Nick Turtles and some allies. I know that there are more allies, but I can only do so many because I don't have every single character maxed out to 6666666. So like Metalhead, I don't have him all the way up, so I can't give you what my upgrades would be. But if you do and you want me to let you know, post it in the comments what it is, or send me a link or something, a picture, and then I can do an analysis based off what his 6 abilities are. Otherwise, again, this link to this document is going to be in the actually, I'll throw it in the comments. But it's also going to be in the description below. Let me know what you think about the orders that I'm going to be upgrading these abilities. If you disagree, that's okay. Just let me know why. And if you agree, hey, let me know why as well. But I will be back tomorrow for sure for another challenge video. And then I'll be making more videos down the line to let you know other upgrade orders that I have for the Foot Clan, for the Space Turtles, for Vision Quest, for LARP. All that good stuff is coming down the pike. So I want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you much for subscribing, for liking. It really means a lot. And I will see you shellheads later tomorrow for a challenge video. And I'll see you next time on effdash TV.